Hello, good evening everyone. My name's Simudad, hope you're all well. Welcome into the stream, another late one. I did want to go live a little bit earlier than this, to be honest, but just had things on and stuff, so it just didn't come to fruition, and I desperately wanted to press on and get Incommunicado done, because I feel like we are sort of not dangerously close, but we're close to the end. Mr. Farquhar, hello my friend, just as I was shutting down for the night. Guess I'm up a bit longer now. Hey man, don't stay up on my account. Sleep is an important part of life, my friend. So yeah, we are the last stream out. We had a slight, let's stick the brake on it a sec. We were having a slight problem with our infrastructure route up to the workshop, and the problems related to this section of road here, which was sort of dirt slash sand. We did our best at sanding it, but it was still getting stuck in some parts, so we did a very rough and ready quick tarmac job over the top of it. So we'll find out if that's done. Get the vehicles going there. Yeah, they will come along here and hopefully make it up here. Now that I've done, like I said, it's very rough and ready. It's by far and away not my best road that I've ever done so far on Roadcraft, but it was to serve a very, I think basically they were getting stuck here. I think there was a tiny bit that was like old sand, you know what I mean, like old mud that I hadn't sanded over the top of, and you know, AI, they'll use any excuse to not do what they're supposed to be doing. So we yeah, just banged on a little rough and ready tarmac job, and that should get it going. We've only got one task currently open to us, which is gather resources for a vital delivery. So what we're actually doing is getting some steel beams, so we'll do that first. Sweet. It's the next vehicle now. Get over to the steel beams factory, hang out some, bring 8 steel beams up to the thing, and this isn't one that you've got to take them to like the storage place. There's an actual place on the map that to bring it, and then the logs. Then we'll do the slabs. Assuming there'll be some kind of yeah, assuming there'll be some kind of other job to do after that. Also, if you are there, can you just let me know if you hear any like fan noise, because I don't usually run a fan when I'm streaming or recording, but it's so hot where I am that I've decided that fan is a needs must for tonight. I've put it on the floor, reasonably far away. I did a bit of monitoring on my headphones before we went live. I couldn't hear it, so I'm hoping that is the case for you guys as well. But if you do hear any of interference from the fan, do let me know. So I will sweat it out if I have to. I hope you're all well. Hope you've had a great week so far, whatever you've been up to. I'm not picking anything up through the phone. Nice, awesome. Like I said, I don't want to. You never can ever say 100%, but when I monitored everything through my headset before we went live, I couldn't hear anything. So I'm hoping that that's the case for you guys as well. So, but it's tad warm, and only set to get warm. That's it. Well, not tonight warmer, but warmer throughout the week. I'm a large guy, don't do well with the heat. Rusty, my friend, evening gents. Stuck my words in. Hope you're well, my friend. Hope you've had a good day. Hope you're surviving the heat as best you can. Hope you've got those aircon units going full blast. Might get picked up a bit now. It's hot. It's how it is. Yeah, it's usually. I think the most I've ever run is like a small little USB desk fan, which, to be honest with you, you may as well not even bother because they're that pathetic. Sort of provided a very slight breeze, but that's kind of figured I'm guilty of kind of just shutting down my content production when things get hot because I don't do particularly well in the heat, especially when the heat is changes all the time between hot and cold. So I thought, do you know what, bugger it, I'm just going to put a fan. It's only a little like desk fan, 12-inch desk fan thing. I plug it in on the other side of the room and just put it on the floor so it's like blowing out my legs, then hopefully that should be fine. So. Yeah, other than that rough and ready tarmac job, done absolutely no prep prior to this episode, so I very optimistically titled the stream Incommunicado finale. We were 85% coming in, so I'm hoping that it's likely that we can complete tonight. So I have a standing fan right up backside, plus the PC fans doing double work in the heat. Yeah. It's I'm generally not a kind of shutter downer of my PC, if you know what I mean. I don't generally shut it down a lot. But when it's very hot, because my room is like very warmest rooms in the house, it's like when it's very hot, I do tend to shut it down to prevent the fans doing any extra work that they don't need to be doing. I'm putting them up. No. Have we got them? That's the place, right? We're gonna manually unload them into there. Oh, you boom. What I've done is I needed 10. I read the logs. I've only got 8 beams. Yeah, heat sucks, but shutting mine down between sessions. Yeah, same here, man. Usually I'll just leave it running. Shut it down maybe once a month. It's hot, I kind of just think, do you know what, it's actually, because it's so extra hot in here, you know, the PC gets hot enough as it is, just through his, you know, and it's not even a particularly hot PC. In that sense, like the CPU holds steady, the GPU holds steady, but I just don't want to add any extra usage. Although I was saving towards a revamped PC, or not the whole PC, but a new CPU and a whole new cooling system. Or the car decided to pull its tricks, so I was going to set that back. But I was going to upgrade the fans in it anyway. But yeah, I think currently my PC has seven fans and the CPU cooler, but CPU not the best. My plan is eventually, I really like my case, there's absolutely nothing wrong with my case. My plan eventually is to upgrade to AIO cooler, 360mm, and upgrade to some Arctic P12 fans to have, will it be 10 fans altogether. Some may say overkill, but you know, never can to be too cool. Change the CPU. GPU's 31C and the CPU's not bad, not bad. Annoyingly, actually, I've just clocked that we've only got 2 concrete slabs in our main storage, so we're gonna have to go all the way up to the slab factory at the top of the map to get slabs, but it's fine. My AIO is a 360, just a relatively cheap cooler master thing. I've got the radiator and fans at the top drawing air out, so it's pulling the hottest air through. Still works finely. Nice. Yeah, my case is a shit. It's a what is it? A Thermaltake S300 or something like that, I think. Definitely Thermaltake, but it's designed around like water cooling, so you've got loads of options around where you put the fans, where you put the radiators, whether you want to run like an actual reservoir, proper water cooled jobby. I opted to not go a proper water cooled route. And I didn't pick the case for that reason. I just picked it because it was on an exceptionally good deal when I got it. But the price, you know, was marked down very, very heavily. So I've got loads of options of where I can put my AIO when I get it. There are parts of the case it will take. I'm pretty sure it will take a 420. I mean, I'm coming out this way and I realised that, oh, we could go down there actually. It's probably not the best route, but we'll go down here. It's just asking for trouble, of course. This will end us up where we ended up flipping last time out, but I'm hoping because we've got no cargo on the back. It's one of those things for me, like PC upgrades. I think my case is a Coolmaster T500. I didn't pick it for any reason other than it was big enough and cheap enough. Yeah, that's exactly why I got mine. It was big enough and cheap enough at the time when I was building my PC, and readily available because I built my PC in COVID when, you know, predominantly graphics cards, but you know, PC parts were getting pretty scarce, so it was just a case of that's what was available, that's what was cheap and was big enough for what I wanted. But yeah, for me it's kind of like, at the moment, as I'm sure you both appreciate, PC runs fine and upgrades are always, would be nice to be able to, but if something else comes up in the meantime, it's not a priority kind of thing, you know what I mean? Like with the car now, whatever that costs, the first bit of money is coming out of my savings I put aside for PC upgrades. So on four concrete slabs. It's not really where I wanted to put it, but that'll do for now. I did buy the other day though, one of those high pressure fans, not fans, what do they call them? Dusters. I did treat my PC to a good dusting out the other day. Yeah, the air blower, it's like really high pressures, does like 130,000 RPM or something. Pushes out really high pressure air. Instead of buying those air cans, it's just like a little USB-C rechargeable jobby. That's the one, yeah. Interchangeable nozzles, can do all sorts of stuff, like pumping up air beds and. But I very much bought it for one reason and one reason only, and that was to dust out my PC and the boys' species. Come on, you. I've got one, and once a month I pull our PCs out into the garden, open them up and create my own storm here. Yeah. It was of all places we just went and did our food shop, and shop in Aldi, just because it's the closest sort of supermarket to where we live, and they just had it in the middle of the aisle randomly, and I was like, do you know what? I've actually wanted one of these for a little while. Why the hell not? I just have to take the case fans down so they don't spin up to some. Yeah, I made that mistake on the first fan, because it pulled the front panel off and started blowing, and fans started making a really high pitch, like whirring sound, like a whooshing sound, and yeah, I don't think it's meant to be going that fast, so I taped them down after that, but didn't even consider it until I started doing the first fan, and it was like, I was like, I don't think that's meant to do that. I don't think it's meant to go that fast. So just after that, just tape the others down with a bit of masking tape. That would do no harm. Comes off easy enough afterwards. I'd have thought the other day I really haven't done that much in the way of selling on this map. I'm not bothered because I'm doing alright for money, but if only we could get 10,000 RPM case fans. Noisy with the case would be cool. Yeah, it would be very, very noisy, but the case would definitely be cool. So we'll run these over to the place, and then we'll grab our logs. That should be done. So I didn't even think to check, but the road that I was struggling with last time with the that we were sanding, I tarmacked that over and I set them going, but I haven't seen anything to say that they've been struggling, so I assume that they've been making the route deliveries, and it just came up to say infrastructure route complete. So I think I'm a map and a half ahead of you. Go over 1 mil sitting in the bank without trying hard. So hunting for cash isn't really needed, unless you're going Trump on us. Yeah, nice. Like, I'm not going for it. Like, I haven't. There's a toy there. If I remember to pick them up, I do. I sort of take a mental note of where they are, then inevitably forget where they are. Yeah, so if I go down that road, that should get me where I go. So I've only to date sold, I think there's one of the toys on this map. I know where the other two are. Well, I definitely know where one of them is, and I've seen the other one on the map, but I can't 100% remember it off the top of my head. I'd be able to find it again with see from there. I think once I complete all the maps, I may go back through them, have a proper clear out and see what I missed. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing actually. Once I wanna, because I sort of stagnated a little bit in the last few weeks with not streaming as often and not putting out as many videos, largely because of the heat more than anything. I wasn't very well for some of it, and you know, it's just said because my I mean, luckily we don't have to use this roadway very often, because this could definitely use some sand, but I'm not going to bother now, because I can't imagine we're going to be doing much as we're near the end of the map. So I feel like I've slipped behind a little bit. So I'm kind of now probably not rushing per se, but I'm not so focused on jumping on in between to loot a load of sellables like I was doing on Sunken. I'm now more jumping on in between to try and line things up, like I've looted a load of concrete to have that lined up for when we got the concrete factory back online and stuff like that. So I think once I've got to the end, I'll probably do the same. Like, I'll just go back through and loot as much as I possibly can, probably even down to the like the metal and everything like that. Now, what I might do just for a bit of ease is I might just just gonna reset this back to the island base. Yeah, I might even sort of loot up all the the resources as well as finding all the sellable stuff. Right, so we want, we're on 8 logs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8. So let's get those lined up. I think the problem, I did ask Mr. F in his stream earlier. I can't remember if it was when you were there or whether it was before you got there or you were busy or something, but I did ask him on there if he'd given any consideration to what map he thought he might conquer next, because I think he's still got a reasonable amount of stuff to do on Sunken, but he's ticking away at the percentage, so he does a couple more if he does a couple more long sort of daytime streams, then sort of reasonably soonish he's going to be getting to the end of it. I did sort of ask him and that was that what you've just said there. There's a choice of 3, so I assume you'll choose a different one to what you do. That was pretty much his answer. He said you'll get there before me because you've got like 10-15% left on INCOMUNICADO and I've got like 40% left on Sunken. So whichever one you pick, I'll do a different one. But the problem is I don't know which one I'll pick, because I haven't seen any of them. This is the thing. I only know, I mean, it's reasonably obvious from the name anyway, but I know Sandswept. Is it Sandswept, I think it's called? Is that the one that you went on and you really loved? It was like a desert one. But like I said, genuinely and truthfully, the only people that I've watched play is Mr. Farquhar and Mr. Farquhar's friend Wessel. So I've not got any clue about what the other maps. Maybe that was going to fall off there. Yeah, I've got no idea what to expect, other than Sandswept is very sandy, which you told me, and is kind of obvious from the name, but so I'll just have to make a decision. I think the sort of, when I finish the maps, going back looting will largely depend on how close they are to releasing like hard mode and the DLC. Oh, get off. Should say get on, really, not get off. That's what it's doing. Your damn time. I went into all three of them with a scout for a 5 minute look to see what they were like. Before I chose Sandswept, I'm now on Delusion. Surprise, surprise, it rains a lot. In that case, then I think it probably makes sense to just follow your route a little bit and go to Sandswept just to have a little bit of a break from the rain, because obviously Sunken was just like a barrage of rain all the time. This map rains quite a lot, just not as heavy as Sunken. So maybe Sandswept is the way. Problem for me is if I don't finish the maps before hard mode is released, I'll probably end up leaving this playthrough, starting a new hard mode run. Yeah, I've been thinking about that because I've said it from pretty much the beginning. Initially, like months back, when kind of when the game came out, my initial plan was I was just going to do a ton of live streams, as much as I could squeeze in, like the first month or so, and then I'd start like basically. Oh, hello. Let me just have a quick look at that, because I reckon it's probably done. It's done, so we'll just cancel that off. Yeah, that would be my plan way back, was basically just do as much as I could do in the first month in terms of live stream, just to capitalize on that new game buzz, see if we could get some new subscribers out of it, get some like watch time hours and such, and then kind of restart and do a pre-recorded save. And then they had confirmation in that first month that they were going to work on or they were working on a hard mode, and it was going to come in September. And it was kind of like, well, actually, if it's only going to be September until hard mode, then I'm going to want to do hard mode, given that I've been having such a good time on SnowRunner. So I may as well just carry on live streaming this playthrough, this save file, until hard mode comes. And then I can start again when hard mode comes, and then it's like something a bit different, because the challenge is the addition of hard mode, but also, you know, how can I play it differently? So then my problem is, well, what happens when hard mode comes? Do I just carry on with the stream? Do I cancel the stream and stream something else? So that's what I'm worried about, is will I carry on with this save once hard mode is here? And at the moment, I don't know. That's the honest answer. Alright, so objective complete, 10,700 for that. Kelly's back.
Collecting all those resources. I'm sure they'll all be properly used in construction and not end up in a dump somewhere. Well, you've got enough for us to exchange for brand spanking new tower parts, which is all that matters. All that's left is to send them to HQ in a convoy. Should be easy, right?
I mean, you say that, but Ranger delivery to the Eastern Tunnel. Obviously, there's a bit missing. Sandswept is my favourite map so far. I loved it and just wish it had been longer. Yeah, tough choice, even more so if you are now going to add an FS 22 playthrough to the list. Yeah, to be honest, mate, I was trying to sort of allude to it in the in Mr. Farquhar's live stream, and it's quite hard to kind of like, because obviously you're only limited to a certain amount of characters on on a live stream, so it's quite hard to kind of verbalize what I mean without it just being a text. But I'm just a bit torn. I'm just having a little bit of a problem, I suppose, in reconciling myself with the fact that I've been such a vocal opponent, if you like, of Giants, and that hasn't changed. Like, that genuinely, I'm not here thinking, oh yeah, Giants are awesome. I still think they're a bunch of shysters, and the way they've approached FS25 is diabolical. There's absolutely no part of me that intends to buy FS25. But then it's like I recap on FS22, and I think, so yeah, it's you know, when I look back at my time on FS22, like, I got it initially when it first came out. I pre-ordered. I got the special edition. It came with that little fucking, sorry, excuse French, the little beacon thing, the USB beacon that you could plug in. That's still in the box now. I never used it. I don't know why I bothered getting the special edition, to be honest. But I got it. That was a Giants redemption. So I've got about, I think I had about 800 hours on the Giants side, and then CD Keys were doing a deal on the Platinum. Was it the Platinum expansion, the latest one, or the Premium expansion? Whichever one was the latest expansion, and it was like 17 quid or something for that, but on Steam. So I got that on Steam, and then I sunk. Well, my current Steam playtime is on, I think, 968 hours. So altogether, I'm about 1700 hours playing on FS22, and I had some fucking quality times playing on some of the multiplayers I played on. Like, me and Lynn absolutely obliterated Chilliwack. We played that every night pretty much, and you know, it's my wife, frankly, until stupid o'clock in the morning most nights for literally like 9 months solid. Then we had the combined counties map, and it's like, it's hard, you know, it's hard because I'm so fucking mad at Giants still that it's like I really haven't touched it. But then lately, the nostalgia in me of thinking, oh, I remember all those times when we used to hang out on the multiplayers, and it's like, oh, I wish Giants weren't such a bunch of dicks, because I'd love to go back on and play it. And then it's like, I've always struggled with a bit the content side of FS anyway, because it takes so much longer than others. And it's kind of like, it's a hard one to reconcile in my head, because I don't want people to be like, oh, you know, you're only playing this now for views. Because to be honest with you, if I was only going to be playing it for views, then I would just get FS25 and play FS25 concede. You know, like I see Mr. Farquhar's, I've been watching his, this week, I've been watching his Own the Map challenge, and see, like, first episode of Hat, he had like 6,000 views on it. So if I was literally just wanting to bring it to the channel back again, because I think, oh, it's going to give me some extra views or whatever, then I just get FS25 and suck it up and play that. But I don't know, it's a lot of nostalgia. So it's kind of like, I want to play it because I enjoy it. I came up with the idea of what I thought was a reasonably good. Why is that not saying how many pieces? I'm sure it said 5. Why is that not showing? Oh, it's because it goes on bridges, idiot. 5, yeah. So yeah, I came up with what I thought was a banging idea, in that you'd start with like a shitload of debt, and you could only, I could only basically, using the mod, the vehicle sale customizer mod, so you could get like 20 or 30 listings in the used store. But I just thought that would sort of break it up a little bit, because you know, obviously you don't know what's going to be in the used store. It could be everything you need, it could be nothing you need. And then there's always to go back to your message, a couple messages back, there's always the Terra Life issue, because it's it came out right around the time that FS22 was coming to an end, and that was also happened to be right around the time when I started getting really pissed off with them. So I feel like I never really got a fair shot at Terra Life. But like you say, I think a Terra Life playthrough would be awesome because of the extra steps and complexities. So, I mean, doesn't matter what people say, not really. You know, to be honest, mate, and I don't say this to like try and sound like a Debbie Downer or anything like that. I don't even know if it's PC to say that anymore, but I'm past caring what people think. I'm not a massive channel. You know, my content's been up and down. Sometimes it's been no trucking and all farming. Sometimes it's been no farming and all trucking. And it's kind of like, well, my channel is not big enough to make to warrant caring what people think, and that was never my intention when I started anyway. My intention was always just, you know, learn something new, which is editing the videos, recording the videos, play the games that I enjoy, which, you know, I enjoy FS. You know, I have done since I first played it, which is a FS19. And, you know, to be honest, if Giants hadn't acted so shady, then I'd probably have no doubt in my mind I'd probably be playing FS25 now, but because of the way that Giants have been and the way that I kind of disagree with that, it's like, Thuringia is a Terra Life map. You know, it makes sense. Well, if I tell you that I've got SGA installed, the mod manager, and within SGA I've got a Thuringia, or I think it's actually pronounced Thuringia, Terra Life folder with the mods that I would like to use. So it is a distinct possibility. I think I'd play it differently to the way that I was playing. I mean, it forces you to anyway, because obviously the differences, excuse me, with Terra Life, but I think I'd use a different farm than I was using on the stream series, because on the stream series I was in the cow farm, sort of northwest of the map, I think, from memory. But I think I'd probably start with the small contracting farm in the middle. You know, hypothetically, of course. But I think what I've decided, and it's largely because I got myself into a bit of a mess with it, I think I would drop the Derail Valley playthrough for a little bit in favour of an FS, if I do end up doing it, because I recorded a bunch of episodes in bulk, and then when I watched them back there was like a ton of skill issues and audio issues and quality issues, and it was like, it's going to be quite hard to make an episode. So I've been debating internally the ever internal monologue of how best to still be able to utilize that footage, and carry on the playthrough. And then the makers behind Derail Valley dropped the announcement the other day that it's very unlikely that there'd be an update to Derail Valley until towards the end of 2026, because they're working on the next iteration, which is B100, and there's going to be a lot of changes. So that's my thoughts, because I'd got myself in the mess with the recordings anyway, and the fact that there's going to be no new content for it for at least the next 18 months. I thought maybe when they start talking about release dates for the next update, maybe I'd come back to it in anticipation of the new update. I do enjoy that game. Like you say, it is a niche game, but it's if there's nothing new coming, I might just sort of can that off in favour of FS. Terra Life makes it a completely different game. It's really what it should have been. Giants hadn't dumbed it down. Or cash rinse. Derail's a niche game. To be honest, I never heard of it. Yeah, I'd never heard of it until I don't know if you've heard of him. That guy Squirrel. He plays. He does a lot of sort of sim type games, and he's quite big. I think he's got like nearly 1 million subscribers or something like that. But he just, I don't know how, because I don't subscribe to him or anything. But he just popped up on my suggested for you page one day that he was starting this new playthrough on Derail Valley, and he's done a few playthroughs. He's been playing Derail for years, and I just watched it. It was just like the thumbnail, clicked on it, you know, and enjoyed it. Thought, you know what, actually this really looks like a really fucking cool game. And then I did up to about 10 episodes, I think, and by the end of sort of the 8th, 9th or 10th episode, I was hooked and made the decision I was going to get the game, so did that. 18 months is a long time to keep a playthrough going without new content. Yeah, that's it. I knew it wasn't going to be a quick update, because they were talking about the amount of work, because they're bringing in new stations and new cargo types and new locomotives and stuff. So, whoa, no. Ooh. That was a close one. I'm just gonna give myself a little safety barrier. Get out of this mess. Sketchy. I'm waiting for buses in ETS 2. I can't fancy myself as a long distance coach driver. Yeah, it'll be good. I don't know, it's a very interesting one, isn't it? That they've decided to go that route. And I think the reason they must have done it is because obviously they announced that they were doing the, I don't even remember what they're calling it, the road trips bit of ATS, where they were going to bring some like classic American type cars, and you could do the kind of free driving in like pickup trucks and like Mustangs and stuff. And I guess that's like the American dream, if you like, of or the American cliche. I don't really know, but you know, let's go and do a road trip down Route 66 or whatever. So it makes sense. And then they must have been thinking, well, actually, what can we do that's similar to that in ETS? And you know, let's be honest, Europeans love a coach trip. So I'll be interested to see how they do it. I think it'll be more long distance. I think it's a smart move. They have the infrastructure in place, and let's be honest, the current available bus sims are for the most part rubbish, so there's a gap there. Yeah, they are quite rubbish. I've played a bit of is it Bus Sim 21, I think, or Bus Sim 20 or something. It is like one of those, and it's not the best. So I'll be interested to see what it's like. I was hoping that it was kind of going to open the door for multi-drops on trucks, but I think it's going to be more of a coach, like long distance, like you say, long distance coach trips where you're picking up passengers from point A and driving them to point B, and then maybe driving them back to point C, or point A rather. But I was kind of hoping it would be more like a bus route, and it would open the door for potential multi-dropping cargo, because that's one feature I would absolutely love them to bring to the game. If they could bring multi-drop cargo deliveries, like get a, you know, like a rigid truck, or as Lynn would call it, a box truck. I know that's what the Americans call it. But yeah, if you could get a rigid van, a rigid truck, and you could have sort of 4 or 5 or 6 deliveries to different locations, I think that would be absolutely awesome. And they'd all be different, like, locations of the same kind of business, you know? Right, plot the route. Why don't we start plotting? Start plotting here. But I think that's what they'll have to start. If it's possible, you never know. If it takes off, then I can see them working on that. Well, the thing is, this is my take on it. I think they will have to start thinking about some other elements soon. I know obviously currently they're working on the Nordic expansion to cover in the large parts of the Nordic areas that they missed. Obviously they announced Iceland the other week, and then they'll have pretty much exhausted Europe, because they can't, or they won't, because obviously they canned the Russia project with the whole Russia-Ukraine situation, so they can't really, or I don't expect that they will really carry or revive that until anything's changed there. So it'll come a time where they'll have to either start expanding in a more southerly direction, start bringing bits of Africa into it, or they'll start bringing in more of like the Balkan regions, like the Far Eastern countries, maybe Asia, but then it becomes not so much Euro Truck Simulator then. So it'd be interesting to see how they progress on, and whether they just get to a point where they feel like the actual map is regularly complete. And then they start adding extra features like the multi-drops and stuff like that. Adding stuff like India, China, and the Himalayas would be good. World's most dangerous roads comes to ETS2. Yeah, there are some mod maps that I've seen that sort of give you really dangerous roads to drive, and it's kind of, they're not very well done, to be honest. It's they're very not great, but they make for interesting viewing. Alright, objective complete. Arrange a delivery to the Eastern Tunnel, 3,200. The surrounding areas. As the hissing and crackling subsides, you sent the Dormer's towers reach out into the world. The need for connection, so often taken for granted, now returns, all thanks to you. Fantastic. Some boats incoming. But I did, to talk about SCS, I did see they've very heavily been hinting that they might take a curveball approach to the States and expand upwards into Canada before the mainland USA is completed.
got the tower parts, it's time to put them to good use and get these comms towers going. First one is the western radio tower near Reedwood Bay, famous for its reeds. In wood. I'm sure it's a charming resort. All it needs is a convoy with power parts from the port. And then make sure the tower is connected to the nearest power station. Next one on the list is the northern radio tower. You know what? It's quite close to the concrete plant, so you'll have no trouble finding it. All you need to do is send over a convoy of tower parts from the transit point. And last but not least, the central radio tower. There's a piece of construction that needs transporting from the transit point to the tower, and that's all 3 towers. Go get 'em, Tiger.
Right, so I think I'm not 100%. I think these will be our last 3 jobs. So repair the radio tower. So we want an infrastructure route on that one. Plot route. Start plotting. I want to go to the northern radio tower, which is over there. Oops. And this is where the problems come in, because I haven't paired repaired a lot of these bridges. Balls. Now we'll need to go up there, which obviously is a... Right, so... So what we need to do then is put a bridge across here. A wooden bridge for that, so it just needs 4 logs. So then what we can do is bring it out of there, around here, up that way. That looks pretty muddy there, so I'm assuming it's going to get stuck. Do have a sand quarry. In theory with ATS, there's nothing to stop them mapping north up through Canada into Alaska and south all the way to the tip of South America. It's a question of time and ability. Yeah, I've had this conversation with Lynn about Alaska because my geography, I'll be honest with you, is not great. But my understanding is there's not a direct road connection from the mainland US into Alaska without first going through Canada. I may be wrong on that, so give that a little pinch of salt. So I think if they want to include Alaska, they would have to map into Canada to be able to make it a road connection. If that was indeed their plan, to make it a road connection. Otherwise, they'd have to, I guess, make it like a freight plane. Or, because I doubt there's a ferry port going from like Washington to Alaska or anything. So I think they'd have to, right, getting sidetracked, chit-chatting. Sweet, actually that works out pretty alright. Because what we can do is, let's get one of the mules up there. Obtain that, confirm, deploy. So yeah, to cover in Alaska, I feel like they'd have to route through Canada. So that does make sense. But like you said, there's, in my view is that there's literally nothing stopping them with ATS making it all of America, as in the USA, Canada, and all of the various different countries that make up South America, and they just have one colossal map. But like you said, it is a case of time and ability, because as much as I respect the work that they do, and you know, ETS and ATS are some of my favourite games, I do also wish that they would release the States quicker. But I think that's indicative of just how much work is involved. and it's how long can they sustain that and sustain interest from people. I think the big thing they've got in their favour is these kind of quote-unquote challenger games that keep coming out. The challenger truck games that keep coming out that are, they bill themselves as, you know, the next rival to ATS, ETS. They aren't. They're miles and away different. It's kind of like, I suppose, Farm Sim in a way that they know they've got like a captive audience because the alternatives aren't anywhere near as good. Just, you know, obviously there's the distinct difference that SCS actually care. I knew that was going to be a problem. SCS actually care about their user base. It's just whether they can sustain the interest long enough to actually get all of those parts done. Because to be honest with you, right, even by the time you've bought all the DLCs, yeah, gone the complete wrong way, I think. What tit? Yeah. Even if you buy the game and all the DLCs, it's still tremendous value for money, especially given the fact that you can get them on such good deals. Which reminds me, actually, Iowa comes out tomorrow, doesn't it? At the 10th that Iowa comes out? Down here, I think. Go. It's not terrible sand up here, so good to have a little trip up here because we can scout it out a little bit whilst we're building a bridge. Check for any immovable fallen trees that block the way. Depending on the type of vehicle, they should be able to get through here. Hello boys and girls, letting you in, my man. Hey buddy, how's it going? Yeah, I think it's the 10th. That'll be a day one purchase for me. Yeah, they're doing the cruising Iowa event as well. I think they've got 12. I think it said on the blog thing there was 12 cities. Alright, let's carry on up this road a little bit. Just to scout it out and see what it's looking like. Just double check. I think all the radio towers up here. So, looking at this, I think that is probably going to need some sand. It really, really just depends on what vehicles they give for that run. I'll just run up here just to check there's no fallen trees or anything. And we'll plot the route, see how they do. We'll crack on delivering the vehicle for the other job. Final job. Another drop the stuff in the zone type of job. So we'll have to see what that needs. Got that in. Yeah, I think that's passable. The only slight concern I've got is the sort of little bit of sandy area beginning and that mud patch. So let's get potted. Spotting. How was your day, Lynn? All good, my friend? Be a bit cheeky and maybe I'll just cut straight across there to cut that mud patch out. It was good, and so was the mini nap I took. So let's double check that's not in the way. We will. They will surely bitch and complain about that. Right, so we'll see what happens with that. Track that. So how do we deliver that vehicle? Driveway is fine. Happy to have a 4-day weekend away from home this weekend, nice. I've actually got 2 weeks off work soon. That'll be nice. Right, where's this one going? Commission. Central radio tower. So that wants to come up there, so actually want to cut down. Nope. Swing it and see how far we can get. Route failed. Where did we fail, boys? Haha, right there. What a surprise. Okay, no worries. Right, let's get the old Jimmy. Yeah, in a couple of weeks I got 2 weeks off work, which I am looking forward to. Dispatch that dude. Boy. And then I'm back in for 2 weeks, and then I've got a long weekend. Hopefully that's just there and it's not going to be getting caught all the way up, because that'll be supremely annoying. Just going to use Steve. I was going to say I was just going to use Steve. That's all out already, by the way. Let's get going. The son and daughter-in-law and grandkid. Nice. How old is the boy now? Grandkid boy, not the old. Gonna be coming up on like 9 months or something. So, 10 months, nice. Time flies, right? Jubbly, so that's fine. They'll make it around this sand stuff. Back on and start driving this in the general direction we need to go and hope that they don't get stuck. As long as they can clear that sand track, they should be alright, but not feeling sent hope. So we're gonna cut through here because lo and behold, I didn't fix that bridge. It felt like awfully late in this map that you get access to the bridge building. On in a little hot there. Yeah, it is. I think they don't want you putting bridges up in the north before you get to the missions. Yeah, I think you're probably right. I did contemplate when I'd unlocked the some of the areas. I did sort of contemplate, like I'd done in the first area, just filling them in with sand. But then it was like, the bridge building is coming, and then it was like, it's still not here, and it's like, no, it'll be here, and well, you know it. Map's nearly done, and you've only just unlocked bridge building. All the movable trees. Going. Where are we going again? Central radio tower. It's up there, so we're gonna cut down there really. As I said, I reckon these are probably the last missions, or maybe one more mission after this. What I didn't check, I checked the percentage, but what I didn't pay particular attention to was the actual amount of missions that I had left. To be honest with you, I thought it'd be pretty safe coming this way because obviously this is all sand that I've laid down. Moving now, boys. It's up that way actually. Taking a wrong turn. To go up through the to have gone up through the scrapyard. This truck would be such an awesome truck if it had a bit of four-wheel drive. Just for like capacity that you could fit in it if you could be able to buy it and use it. So we're going to come out the other end. This way I do believe. Seems like it. Mission complete. 7,150 money for that. Great stuff. Right, let's cancel that because that's done. Transit point to Northern Radio Tower. That's the one that's running now, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, look. Lovely job. Made it there, no problem at all. Lovely job. 7,200 for that one. The Northern Tower up and running. So was that a one and done button? Is that a one and done infrastructure, or is it? No, it's still going. So that's got another 5 trucks to go through. Or 5 loads to go through, that's fine. Let's track that one. Bring objects to the zone. What are the objects? Oh, those, right, obviously. No worries, that's fine. Like what do you want me to bring, like? And this one's all the way back here in Island Bay. So what I might do with that wants it to go over there. Obviously what it wants me to do is, can I build a bridge across here? 7 wood will get a bridge across there. So my plan here is, let's open my garage. I don't want this truck. How can I open garage? Let's, yeah. Let's Tanya. What I think I'm gonna do this run is strategic. This one. Let's retain that, deploy that. Well, sorry bloke, but it's time for me to exit. Have a good rest of the stream. I'll catch you next time. Take care, Lynn. Cheers, Rusty, mate. I appreciate you as always. Thanks for stopping by. I hope you survived the night in the heat. I'm sure we'll catch you around tomorrow at some point. Take care, my friend. Oh, I appreciate that, Rusty. Thanks, buddy. Alright, let's bring out. Deploy. Seven wood is what it said. So I switch to strap that, and that'll provide like a backstop. And then we'll put those on, we'll drop those off to finish to build the bridge, and we'll somehow figure if we can get this crane. I mean, I didn't need to select that one, but I just couldn't be bothered to cycle all the way back through. We'll actually probably end up doing, I think, is we won't be able to get a crane on top of these wood, but we will be able to get rid of this wood because we won't need to crane it off. Just drive into the trigger. Need to run a mule over to help with loading. I'm just wanting to be able to load. There's 2 items that we've got to deliver, it looks like. Maybe even 3 perhaps in that job. There's 3 dots in the menu. I'd like to be able to deliver them if possible at the same time, because it will save us a run back. Hello, hello, Kalani, my friend. Hey, buddy. How are you? How's your day been? How's your week been? How's your month been? Hope you're keeping well, my friend. Should, being well, be coming to the end of this map, this stream. Going for, coming up on an hour and a half. Plan, I think we're on either the last mission or the second to last mission for this map anyway. That's my gut feeling. But pretty much we were 85% completion when we came in. And we're pretty much going to run until run the stream until we're done. And then the next stream out we could start on a different map then. What we're doing just now is we are delivering this to make a bridge. Right, that's going to be the easiest way. That is going to be the easiest way. Been doing good, bro. Just been chilling, schoolwork, and now I'm in the racing league for iRacing. Been doing that every Monday for the past 3 weeks. Nice, bro. How's that been going? Getting the hang of it? Getting some good results? So that gives us the bridge down here. And 2 of the things. Oh. Been going pretty good, honestly. This past Monday started 23rd, finished P10. by the end of it, 5 minutes race. Nice, buddy. That's pretty good going. I couldn't really get to grips with iRacing. I didn't, being honest, didn't really give it a fair shot. But I did some in a different league. I think the best result I achieved was like P8 or something like that. P8, P9. Right, so plan is, that wasn't the plan, but that's what ended up happening, is we're going to just check if that infrastructure route is done. Nope, it's got two more runs to go, and then to go over there. I'm gonna take this mule with the crane over, because that'll do loading duties for us. And we do have a to be delivered there. It's honestly really fun. We raced Toyota GR86 cars. Everyone has an exact same car set as setup, which even though nice. Now that's where it differed. I can't remember what the league was that I used to race in. It wasn't iRacing. It was a competitor, like a free thing using Assetto Corsa. And they they'd allow you, so you all had to use the same car, but you could use, to a certain degree, you could adjust the setup how you wanted it to be set up, in the sense of you could change like aero and tire and stuff like that, but you couldn't run crazy mods or anything. It was all, everyone was running the same power. It was just how you set the car up was different to however you wanted to do it. The parameters of what was deemed acceptable. So obviously you had the guys that were really good at setting up cars, they'd always do really decently, because obviously they'd set their cars up decently. Beautiful. Gonna get that on there, and then we're gonna get that on back. I think having mixed setups like that really pulls the fun out of it. There's people who can't really get their cars dialed in basically whenever win a race. Yeah. I see your point. I suppose though there is also the argument on the counter of that is that it's only what they do in the professional race series. You know, cars are allowed to adjust things within a certain amount, you know, within a certain tolerance or within a certain parameter. If it's deemed like too much or anything, then they'd get pulled up by the stewards. But it does, you know, the idea of everyone being on the same setup is good, because then it's literally down to raw skill then, isn't it? You know, who could take the corner the latest, who can brake later, who apex is tighter. Yeah, up here. Right, let me wrong button. See what infrastructure. That's all done. It's complete. No side objectives. Right, so let's see. Okay, I guess this might be the last mission, but there could also be one extra mission. Objective complete. 8,370. Western tower rises and its antennas are allowed to amplify. There we are. Reconnect.
All 3 towers back in action. You did good today. Real good. Tonight, I'll raise my mug of cocoa to you.
Thanks, Kelly. Appreciate you. There we are. Incommunicado is complete. All goals complete. This is the kind of work first responders do day in, day out in the face of danger. It's not about finding a way out by yourself. It's about making sure we make it all through together. Let's return to the harbor. No real need to go back at the moment. There's loads of resources left there, which like slabs and pipes and beams and stuff, which I could sell, but really not much. But, you know, I'm not short of cash, so I don't need to do that. But that puts us about halfway through, actually. There's 8 maps. We've done 4, so that puts us halfway through of what's currently available. There is the rebuild expansion coming later this year, which we've got ready because we bought the rebuild edition, so get that as soon as it comes out. But Incommunicado is done. 28 of 28 objectives complete. Side objective 7 of 7. Infrastructure requests always, or currently has a issue tracking correctly, because it always says that you haven't done all the infrastructure requests when you actually have. And in fact, the other day when I loaded in, this was saying 8 out of 10 completed, so it seems to just be doing its own thing, which is fine. Do whatever. We've pretty much got to choose which way we go. Rusty's done Sandswept and he's on Deluge. Mr. Farquhar is still on Sunken, so he will get the choice next. I think we're probably going to go Sandswept next. Rusty's done that. He says it's his favourite map so far, so it seems like a good idea that we do that one next. But in terms of Incommunicado, it's done. We finished it with 207,000 in the bank. Level 11. Really know what that gets us in the shop. Nothing of any major relevance. I think we may buy another scout or a different scout. Oh, I think we get this scout maybe, I'm not sure, but see. But yeah, that's done on Incommunicado. Had to step away, got an unsettled lad. How's the progress going? You are about 2 or 3 minutes too late. We just finished Incommunicado. We just did the final mission. I was just explaining the infrastructure request thing seems to be broke on the map detail screen, because I did all the infrastructure requests, but it never ever says that I've done them all on this screen, even though I have, and everything says 100%. So yeah, we just finished it. I was just trying to decide where we go next, but that won't be on this stream anyway, because I want to try. Because what happened was, when I finished Sunken and moved to Incommunicado, I did like half a stream on Sunken, half a stream on Incommunicado, but obviously that's like, it's hard to playlist that up. So it will be, I think it's better if I'll come to the end of this stream in a sec, and then next stream out we'll start on one of the 3 maps. I was just saying, Rusty's done Sunswept and he's on Deluge now, and he says Sunswept has been his favourite map so far. I did half tempted to do Sojourn next, just because Rusty hasn't done it, but then I might just do Sunswept and get that big fat tyre buggy thing that he likes. But that is going to do us for this stream tonight, guys, because like I said, I want to keep the stream separate. So I might hop off now. I'm not feeling too tired. Might do a little bit of recording or something. But I hope you've all enjoyed. Everyone that's been along, Mr. Farquhar, Linuen, Rusty, Kalani, anyone that's been lurking, hanging around, enjoyed it, hit the like button. Subscribe if you're not already. If you're watching this after the fact, leave me any comments or feedback. I was thinking Deluge for my next. That sounds good to me, mate. I'm gonna go Sunswept then. If you want Deluge, I'll go Sunswept. That's cool with me. Bit of collaborative working, as they say. So I'll do Sunswept, and then you could take Deluge, and then we'll end up probably on Sojourn at the same time. Kalani, alright bro, have a good night. Kalani, thanks bro. Mr. F, have a good one, chat. Catch you about tomorrow. Thanks, man. Right, you guys take care, and we'll catch you on the next one. Peace.